y averiguarlo. Si no tiene magia, no puede comprarlo. Que te da rabia, no puedes copiarlo.
Y está de moda, esta moda es mía, no es toda. Quieres lo que tengo, se te nota.
Este flow es mío, 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 este flow es mío.
Me miro mejor que tú. En la pasarela con actitud. Me miro mejor que tú. Desde el maquillaje hasta los shoes.
So I can share more about that video. We showed both our most recent campaign, which got cut off a little bit. It's called Unfollowing, which is all about how Gen Z really sets their own taste and their own aesthetic. And then that second video was all about our Pinterest predicts trends. So, I think we are that definitely informed a lot of what we're doing here at the Pinterest Manifestival. So show me a round of hands if anyone's bought anything with a cherry on it in the past 6 months. Oh, okay. Do tell.
Daughter.
Oh, okay.
Daughter's clothes, lots of cherries.
Awesome. And
a shirt, yeah.
A shirt. And if anyone's seen the Louis Vuitton window, it's all about the Murakami cherries. So we feel like that's really on trend. But the really cool thing is we called that back in December. And so before this whole season, and what we found is that our trends, our Pinterest predicts trends, have an 80% hit rate of being correct. And we actually call it the not yet trending report because it's all about the future versus looking back. And so for brands, you get a real sneak peek into what consumers are really excited to buy in the next year because it's all about a mix of our data, our insights. And if you think about Pinterest, and it also underpins our Manifestival, is that Gen Z really thinks of it as their manifestation app. So it's almost like you're getting a full-on tarot reading of what are they really going to be into in the next few months. So yeah, I think
a vision board of sorts.
Exactly, a vision board of sorts.
Our day, we cut it out and put it on paper, right?
That's right.
That's digital.
And now you can just save it. You make collages. I think in the last talk, we heard a little about co-creation, which feels like this conference is authentic in terms of the word I've heard a lot. And so we really invite Gen Z and all of our audiences to co-create with us and to find their own taste. And so that was what the Unfollowing campaign was really about. It's not about what someone else is telling you to do, but how do you adopt the trend? So for instance, Dane might only like to wear the cherries in his hair, and he's embarrassed and said it was for his daughter. I'm sorry.
True.
You got him.
That's right. But it's all about like making it your own. So yeah, I think like if you haven't had a chance to check out the cherry trend, we do have cherry coated tarts down at the Manifestival today.
To answer the question, I think for us at Spotify, we see our experiential strategy and moments that we show up in real life as a part of the storytelling vehicle, right? So we try not to just do a flash in the pan, standing alone. We really partner closely with our marketing and comms teams and their strategists to understand like why is it valuable to bring our app to life at that moment, and what are we supporting? So it's part of the storytelling arm, and that's really important because we have seen that Gen Zers are craving this connection and this IRL moment to celebrate things and be a part of something that they are a fan of. And providing them the space where they can come together as a community to celebrate a playlist, a genre, a trend, a cultural moment, a city, a sport is something that seems to be really valuable, and it allows us to provide them the opportunity to touch and feel Spotify IRL. And we try to always see all of our events as a moment where you can actually, as all of our brands do, where the app comes to life and you can step into it. And so there's a place where you can smell, eat, taste, touch our brand in real life. So we want to make sure that every time we bring it to life and whatever we're celebrating, we keep that in mind at the forefront, because that will ladder right back up to what the audience wants and the comm strategy and the marketing strategy that it's really supporting.
And culture moves so fast. So how can you influence culture and allow culture to influence you, but still successfully pull off an event?
Yeah, I think there's a few things that need to be true for different brands to really successfully respond or shape culture. And I actually think it's more about, for us at Pinterest, culture, trends, and our consumers are in constant dialogue. And it's again, like how I mentioned before, it's like how people adopt a specific trend and what's their way into it. And so I think in that way, we definitely see a lot of people are shaping culture on our platform. And it's all about, so I got some Aura Beauty makeup done.
And you look amazing, I will say.
And I'm sure this looks very different on a 25-year-old than it does on
Not as good,
me.
obviously.
Yeah, obviously. And so with that, and the other kind of really great thing is we're able to invite brands into that moment as well. So we're partnering with L'Oreal, NYX, and Maybelline on that. And for us, we really try to make it seem like our brands and ads are additive to the platform. And so we like to bring that over into our IRL experiences as well.
At Spotify, I think we really consider culture a two-way street. So things that happen out there in the world really influence our platform, and things that are happening on our platform are influencing the world. So a good example is way back when. Y'all remember COVID when we were all at home? A long time ago.
No.
Sometimes I miss it, I'm not gonna lie. There were times where I was like, it's okay. But do you guys remember that guy skateboarding, drinking ocean spray, listening to that Fleetwood Mac song, right? That Fleetwood Mac song, it skyrocketed on platform. It had the more listens in one kind of week than it ever had before, and an entirely new generation was introduced to Fleetwood Mac. I know for some of us that's like, what? You didn't know who Fleetwood Mac was before that moment? But there is a world. There's people out there who didn't know. So Fleetwood Mac now is part of like a whole new culture, a whole new generation's dialogue, and there's also things that happen on our platform that then influence the world. Like you'll see a lot of things on TikTok from like video podcasts that are on our platform that are becoming memes, or really, someone became someone's muse. I think you all remember which one Julia Fox's thing. So I think so. It's a two-way street. And I think that with I think 350 million tracks and over, I think 7 million podcasts and many, many audiobooks, there's always something that there are people that are gravitating towards, and things that we can watch the spikes happen when something happens out in the world. Kendrick Lamar performs at the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar's songs skyrocket. Yeah.
And Celine bootcut jeans also skyrocket.
I mean, right? And so we find that brands also come to us because they want to know what is poppin', what are the people looking for, and it helps us guide the brand partners we have to how to show up, who to show up with, who to book, where to have the event. So it really helps us. It's a kind of a full circle moment. So it's what happens on culture happens on Spotify, and Spotify kind of projects culture back to the listener.
Yeah, that's great. And you've both touched on it a little bit, but would love to get your sense of the unique data that your platforms have. And we talked a bit about how your platforms are very positive and they're very forward-looking, meaning these are things I want. I'm building a playlist for a party that's coming up. I'm pinning for my future self. Can you talk a little about how that trend data can be used to your advantage as marketers?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned, so much of what happens on Pinterest, like the consumers are pinning for their future. And I did mention some of the predicts trends like cherries and all of that, but also color. And so we announced this thing called the Pinterest palette. And we also have a little atelier down in our space where you can customize things with the Pinterest palette colors. And so I'll do another quick poll. How many people have bought anything in the past year that is butter yellow? Or gotten their nails done in butter yellow?
After I spoke to you,
butter.
I bought you too.
Love that.
If I were color, I would have.
So that was one of the colors that made it to our Pinterest palette, because our researchers were analyzing all this data And we kind of neutralized out black and white because we know that's very popular. But we looked at everything from home decor to fashion to beauty, and butter yellow was popping. So that is definitely one of the colors that we're seeing out there. And for brands, it's a great way to think about merchandising, what to put in their ads, what to put in their promos, because people are just vibing on butter yellow. I think I've seen a couple ads already of people, oh, wait, we've got some more over here. Butter
I see it in the crowd, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's something that ads or brands can take advantage of when they think about how do they catch someone's attention, pick a trending color that people will really respond to, because that's what they're thinking about. Or pick a different trend as a way in. Like I mentioned, the cherries are definitely something that will catch someone's eye.
For us, I think data is really something we use as a tool to guide where we show up and also the predictions we make. For example, last year we had Tyla on our stage, but we also have this great partner in Coke Studios where we put together a performance in South Africa with Tyla because we saw the trends really celebrating her and Afrobeats, and really Afrobeats coming to the rest of the world at a time where she was also coming up. So that data shows, okay, this is music and this is a genre that is really becoming more and more popular. People are listening to, people are engaging with. And so this is something we got to keep an eye on and bring and help amplify for the right audience that is craving it. We have, I think, 90% of our users spend 2 hours on our platform. And so we have a kind of deep understanding of what they want, the things that they're listening to, the things that are looking for, the things that our real life editors are putting in playlists, what's really working and what's really actually catching people's ears and eyes. So we use that data to help inform, hey, we want to do something for Fresh Finds Live. We want to make a Fresh Finds playlist come to life and do Fresh Finds Live. What artists are really popular in Chicago right now, and who are those fans? How can we make sure we bring them a special night with the artists they want to hear from? And then for the artists, we're able to then use our data to invite their biggest fans. And it has a really a special moment. Like, yes, arena shows are great, but so are shows that are under 100 where that artist and that audience member can have a more intimate one-to-one connection, which we know Gen Z are craving.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're in experiential events, because it is such an authentic feeling to be one of the 100 in that event. Shifting now to the business side, as you are forming, hey, we want to go to this activation, we want to create this event, how are you positioning the business case internally? Is it this will drive awareness, this will shape our brand, this is the ROI, is it a bit of everything? How are you positioning it to your business leaders?
We asked nicely first.
Exactly.
I think there's things that we know as producers that you can't measure, right? The brand affinity one gets after leaving an event. There's no real measurement for that. There's of course events that are for B2B clients that there is a sales force in the back end of who's invited and what they spend, and all of that is great. There's those KPIs that we're all looking for and used to, social coverage, press coverage, etc. But we also have kept this at top of mind because we know budgets are getting tight for everybody, and we need to be thoughtful about how we come to life, and we want to make sure where we come to life makes sense for whatever we're trying to celebrate. But we also know that brands are craving it. So last year we launched something called Spotify Aux, which is our branded events program, which helped take our cost center from just a revenue spender to a revenue generator. Yeah. So that was helpful. That's a good way to position the business case.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so we've partnered with great brands like Samsung and Coke Studio and FanDuel, and they've come to us because they know that we know what their demographic is looking for, and they want to make sure that they show up authentically in the music space, and they want to partner with us to do that. And I think that's great. And sometimes they offset costs. Sometimes we are able to spin up a whole new event that we couldn't because we didn't have the plan or the budget for with their partnership. So that's been great. And then with the things that are owned and operated, we really at Spotify take experiential seriously because we believe we need to show up places to be part of the cultural conversation and also to keep understanding what the cultural conversation is. Because in those moments, people gather, important conversations happen, things get on social media, and we understand what's working and what's not. So that really helps influence our marketing strategies as well.
That's great. Yeah.
And for us, we have a blend of both B2B and B2C events. We'll actually say while going to B2C events are fun, except this is actually very fun here too. B2B events are way easier to prove impact. We tie back a lot to revenue impact, to ROI, spend optimism, all of those things. And they're just highly measurable. I will tell you all about it over a drink if you're really interested.
That is conversation people want to have over drinks. Yeah.
Exactly. That's very, very exciting. And so with that, like what's something interesting that happened to us 2 years ago, our VP of Consumer happened to come to Cannes. And we were that was the second year, I believe, that we did the Pinterest Manifestival. And we were just starting to get into music festivals because we noticed that a lot of the Gen Z on our platform love going to festivals. We're searching for Coachella outfits or music festival outfits. And they also felt like they could be the most them version of themselves at a music festival. So if you've ever seen fashion at Coachella, it is bananas. And I was joking with some of my UK colleagues because their approach to music festivals is a little bit different. And so
Wellies at Glasgow,
Yeah.
you don't see those at Coachella.
no, there's a lot of wellies and what do you call them, Sean? Wellies.
Yeah, that was my British nod to him. Yeah.
And so seeing that trend around fashion, Coachella just felt like a really natural place for us to activate and enhance their experience while they're there. And so this year we did something called Remix Your Look, and it really dealt with like collaging and taking a trend and making it your own. We had 5 hero trends there that people could adopt and get styled. And actually our stylist from Coachella is here as well. So again, if you want a cool baseball hat, she is styling those baseball hats and kind of making them
Come over there and get a glow up.
Oh yeah.
Like with this makeup.
You need to. And so with that, like our VP of Consumer literally just said, can you just do what you did at Cannes at Coachella, but make it right for Coachella versus advertising executives? So
Highest compliment for a B2B event, honestly.
yeah, so that was a huge win for us, and definitely drove a lot of impact, a lot of social impressions, and definitely moved the meter on some of our brand equity too.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you both kind of talked a little bit on how you make events both thoughtful but also personalized. Like you have the tattoo parlor again, you've got the hats, you're programming, brand new one.
Fresh ink.
Talk a little bit about what is your process and how do you make sure that you are making authentic events that feel so personal, especially when you maybe are planning them months in advance? How do you do that?
Yeah, I can start. And so for a lot of people here in Experiential, you probably get, because everyone's like, oh, were you just working on this for like the last month? We're like, girl, we've been on this for 10 months. We want to start negotiations as soon as we wrap up here. And so I think for us, we start pretty early. Just like the audiences we serve, we love to plan and get ahead of things. And so we go deep, we try to understand what the trends are. But even before we dig into what the next year's trends may be, everyone here, like my team is amazing. We're across the entire creative team. And we really pay attention to what's happening. What are some needs? What do people want that they're not getting? And a few years ago, we just noticed, okay, cool. You go up and down the closet. You have talks aplenty. But guess what? For a festival of creativity, there's not a lot of creative things happening out there. It is in the Palais. You get to see the work, and that's amazing. But for a lot of the different areas, what we saw were cool. I mean, there should be a stage at Spotify, but I won't bash any other brand, but should every
Do it.
stage?
No one's listening. Don't
Just
worry.
between us.
It's just us three. Who do we like?
No names, but yeah. So anyhow, so it's so we're like, is that really what people want to do when they're at the Mediterranean? Do they want to get locked in a room and look at a 100-page deck while they're out on the sea? And we really thought, okay, come on, we got to give the people what they want. And so actually my CMO was like, are you crazy? Why would anyone want a tattoo at the beach? And sure enough,
The biggest
hit. We get a queue an hour before we even open for people wanting a chance at a tattoo. And then we have a lot of things that people can make. They can kind of things that they were dreaming about that they can actually do. Like we have, if you've ever wanted a really great can memento and you're just not, no offense lines if you're here, you don't like the tote bag or the swag, you can make a custom Riso print poster that is literally a work of art. And the can team actually approved us to play with our logo because they just loved what we were producing. So
She's not wrong. My team barters tickets to our shows for tattoos on her beach. So it's a real thing.
Yes, it's cultural currency.
I don't know about it. I don't talk about it, but it's true. They do.
So yeah, I think those are just some of the things that are possible when people just start dreaming early. And of course, we look at Pinterest. I won't name who, but someone might have an entire cushion board or one on pin-shaped objects in art. And everyone has their different vibe that they bring to the event. And so I think that's what makes it really exciting. I personally love jorts. We brought jorts to our BAs this year. And that was a little bit of a risk. But,
So retro.
It's amazing.
But yeah, so I think all of that happens early. We keep iterating and and hopefully you guys get to experience it.
For us, we know audiences are expecting intimacy and cultural relevancy and personalization. Like that's the kind of stuff that really pops on our platform. Can you tell us one of my talking points? I said it a couple times. So we know that that's important. And that's why when we are thinking about an event and thinking through an event, depending on the audience, we want to make sure we're providing that. So influencers love anything they can customize and personalize. You know, you have to have that now when you're doing something.
Yeah, you're missing it.
Yeah, you're missing it. And they'll use it and they'll wear it and they'll post it and it'll be great. And we want to make sure that we are considering what's happening contextually and what's happening culturally, where we're popping up, and what's the why? Why are we doing it? Is it for Gen Zers? Is it for conversation? What is it? And then we want to make sure that we are known for thinking about the guests and their guest journey from the moment they step foot in through our threshold to the minute they leave, and making sure that every element that is needed to amplify and ensure they're having the most optimal, best time possible is considered when they're spending their time with us. Because that's the same way we feel about our platform. We know people spend time with us and it prevents them from doom scrolling, as we all do late at night. And it's a healthier place to be. But they're getting things served up to them by our editorial AI tools, but also our actual real life editors that are customizable to them, that they feel connected to. They have their favorite podcast, their favorite book, their favorite playlist, songs that really pull some emotion, tug at their heartstrings. And we want to make sure those same types of feelings happen at an event with us in a smaller, large scale.
That's great. And you've mentioned editorial. So you both have editorial boards, which are so critical to the creativity of your company. If you could touch a little bit on their role and advice for anyone who has a brand but might not have editorial, how do you get that feeling into your team? What does the team structure look like? Whose role is that?
Yeah. So for our team, we have a few people who are strategists. They really mine a lot of our data. We also have our writers who really know kind of what's happening. And we work with our programming and originals team. And actually, they helped us with one of our activations here. We're doing a collaboration with Chamberlain Coffee of Emma Chamberlain fame. So she stopped by this morning. We're doing a custom coffee flavor with her. That's inspired by the fisherman aesthetic theme. And it's, I believe, toffee sea salt flavor. It tastes amazing. I already had a glass of that. And the insight was, and I think you both touched on it, Emma and our brand are very kind of lockstep together. We believe in positive mental health, not doom scrolling, and really getting inspired online, but getting off and going to do it, right? And so that was part of that partnership. And that is also obviously creating a lot of editorial for us. So we work with our programming and originals team. We worked with them at Coachella to create a ton of content packages. They also work with us to create packages around the predicts trend. So I think it's really important. And obviously we also work with creators who are really embracing the trends and helping bring all of those to life to make relevant content for people.
We love Emma Chamberlain too. She's part of the fam, so I'm happy that that's going well. we work with our editorial team a lot to understand predictions of what kind of music and songs that might be huge. We have a playlist called Songs of Summer that has predictions of what songs are going to be huge. I think on that prediction list was Alex Warren and Somber and the Marias, all of whom have performed on this beach this week already. So we try to stick close with them because they do have this magic ability to know what's coming and what's going to be huge.
Very cool.
We also work when we want to launch our playlist franchises, Fresh Finds, for example, Radar. Those are all opportunities through our Aux program that brands can partner with us. But again, they are doing that because they want to make sure that they're showing up to that consumer in an authentic way. So we partner very closely with that playlist team to make sure whatever we're doing and wherever we're doing it still feels like that playlist, and want to make sure we stick close to that and like really respect that authenticity. We also use the data that we have on the back end to understand where we should be. For example, Hot Country is one of our biggest playlists. People love country music. I don't know if y'all heard, country music is a big deal. So that influences us to show up at CMA Fest and make sure that we have a presence there. And we have a Spotify house at CMA Fest that has artists that people love performing all day long for about 3 days. So we know that in other countries, there's similar places and themes and types of music that we need to celebrate and make sure we're behind. And we use that data and those data analysts to like help inform that and make sure that we marry that information with what's going on in the world and culture and in the culture, and show up in a way that can like really amplify, celebrate, and be additive.
Yeah, very cool. All right, we are at time, but one last
Zippy
prediction for 2026, Cannes 2026. What is something we should be looking out for, being ahead of the trend, something cool you are seeing now?
God. Well, you're about to bash some people. Should we do that first?
I was going to say Keyana.
What not to do?
Ladies first.
Oh, no.
I'm a gremlin.
What trends? I think, well, butter yellow seems to be popular. I don't know. I think
I'll jump in. Maybe.
Yeah, you jump in first.
Okay, so something that I've been seeing as I've been going up and down the Croisette is there's a lot of humor coming back to ads and the work.
Yeah.
And guess what doesn't do humor well? AI. And so we've run a lot of experiments and tests because I think this is the second or third year we've been talking about AI here. But our CCO did some experiments with AI. And so she asked AI what was better. And they wrote out a whole script. And the human always won. And that's what AI thought as well. Because AI is not great at humor yet. So there's a lot of frontiers where human creativity will always have a place no matter what technology comes. And I know there's a lot of fear in that, but I think it's like every other revolution, like the music revolution, when we had digital music and all of that. You just have to figure out how to lean into it and what our role is with it. Because obviously the role will change, but it doesn't mean we will be eliminated from that world.
I think that we are seeing a lot more trends where people are taking the big swings and being like a little bit more niche and more wanting to make sure they're, even if it's a smaller group, kind of connecting with them and having that kind of intimacy. We know that that is working and resonating. We have a Culture Next report we do every year that really talks to what Gen Zs are going to be wanting and craving, and those kinds of things where people can see a little bit of themselves and their weird parts, their quirky parts, that resonates with them and that makes them have a love for that brand that might not have existed before. They don't want to feel like one of a million. They want to feel like one of 10. So keeping an eye out for those things and making sure that you kind of take those moments and be regionally relevant and culture and, age relevancy is something that's working.
Yeah.
Wait,
great.
I have one more. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just thought of this. And it's also like, I think people have heard of the lipstick effect, those little luxuries you can afford when the economy's not doing great. But not only that, because obviously I do love my beauty things, but it's cute things. So does anyone here have a Labubu?
I only learned about
I learned about it this week. Yeah.
And then you have 2 on your bag too.
I have 2, and one is tattooed, courtesy of our tattoo partner. But yeah, the Labubu is a great example, although there's a lot of people who are like, I think actually one of my colleagues says, why do I F up my really nice bags with that ugly gremlin? And I'm like, because it's cute. Yeah.
It is a question.
And so I think it's all about that kawaii, the cuteness, because honestly, I look at it and it brings me joy.
Yeah. People want to be who they are and not feel bad about it. So celebrating.
Word of the day, joy. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. This is really fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.